You are listening to Preneur, a podcast for high school entrepreneurs with me, author Tony Ceballos. Preneur is intellectual property protected by instant IP, a blockchain-based solution. The information provided during this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to or does not constitute legal advice. And so enough of those serious formalities. Let's get down to the fun part. We have a sponsor. Our sponsor is Preneur Shirts and More. Preneur Shirts and More, fueling unwavering confidence and unstoppable laughs all at the same time. In other words, wear Preneur clothing and become all things to all people. Preneur Shirts and More are available on TeePublic, and you can find our TeePublic storefront link below. We have a shirt of the day. Our shirt of the day, very straightforward, award-winning t-shirt. Walk around with that. Award-winning t-shirt. People will know that you are someone to reckon with right off the bat when they see you. Okay, here we go. Short and sweet today. We're going to talk about this. A lineage of learning. A lineage of learning. Now, when I use the word lineage, why don't we just go ahead and make that the word of the day right off the top. And if you want to know why we have a word of the day, you need to watch our first episode. And I'll tell you about the correlation between vocabulary and income. Lineage. We're talking about, in many ways, we think of the word lineage and we think of generationally. We think of someone being born of a certain family, a family line, lineage. But what I'm talking about today is what we call a lineage of learning, which means this. Everything you learn in life, you learn from someone else. Everything you learn in life, you learn from someone else. Think about it. A parent, a teacher, a coach, and someone might say, hey, I've learned some things from a book. Well, great. Guess what? Someone had to write the book. So you learned from that person through that book. Oh, I didn't learn from a book. I learned on a podcast. Listening to a podcast, great. But someone had to produce that podcast. So everything we learn in life, we learn from someone else. Now, some of you might sit there and say, Tony, I have not had good parents. I've not had good role models. I've not had good mentors. And they didn't teach me anything good but how to make mistakes. Well, if all else fails, you can at least learn from their mistakes. In fact, I want you to know this when it comes to learning from people's mistakes, okay? Because we all know it's good to learn from your mistakes. But it is even better to learn from the mistakes of others without making the same mistakes. Let me read that again. It is good to learn from your mistakes. That's wonderful. Don't make the same mistake twice. That's wonderful. It is good to learn from your mistakes, but it is even better to learn from the mistakes of others without making the same mistakes. So here's my challenge to you today. I want you to intentionally try to find someone from whom to learn. And maybe you already have that person in your life. I want you then to intentionally listen to them more attentively. I want you to make it intentional. I want you to be intentional to learn from them. And maybe take it a step farther and talk to them in a little more depth. Ask them some more questions, okay? And if you don't already have somebody from whom you're learning, make it intentional to find someone from whom to learn. Now, I'm not talking about just walking up to some guy on the street. You don't know anything about him, or him or her. You don't know anything about their character. And so you say, hey, you're older than me. I want to learn from you. No, I'm saying survey, look at the influences in your life, look at your sphere of influences and say, I choose to learn intentionally from that person. Maybe that person is me, and I'm flattered if you consider me that person. Just make sure, be certain you are learning from someone, because let me tell you one of the greatest assets in life, all right? Say you're 16, 17, 18 years old, okay? That's all the years you've lived on the planet so far. there is nothing better than sitting down with someone who's been alive for 50, 60, 70 years. I haven't been alive 70 years yet, okay? But to sit down with someone who can give you 70 years of wisdom, truncated, man, there's two words of the day, truncated or attenuated or compacted into 7 minutes. Think about that. If someone can give you a life lesson, it took them 70 years to learn it, and they relate that information to you in 7 minutes. Talk about ROI. Talk about return on your investment of time. 70 years of wisdom in 7 minutes. But you have to be disciplined and intentional enough to give them the 7 minutes. All right? I know that sounds silly, but aren't we all so easily distracted? And I'm the same way. If I'm watching a video and it doesn't captivate me within 2 or 3 seconds, I'm on to the next video. And that's just the world in which we live. So you have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate to sit and listen to someone. Say, I'm going to learn from them. Because what an investment. What a rate of exchange. What a return on investment. 70 years of experience and wisdom in 7 minutes. Now, the most egregious mistake you can make as an entrepreneur, here it is. The most egregious, man, we have like 3 words of the day today. The most egregious mistake you can make is this, okay, is to have this mindset. You have the mindset, my entrepreneurial idea or vision is so unique, and since no one has ever done this before, no one can teach me. That's the biggest mistake you can make. Because guess what? When you learn from other entrepreneurs, guess what they thought? They thought their vision, they thought their goal and their innovation had never been done before. But there are aspects you can learn from them on maybe how to market their vision, how they marketed their vision, the things they did well, the things they didn't do well. So the worst thing you can do is isolate you and your vision, because you are doomed to repeat mistakes others have made. When if you would just listen to them, then you won't make those same mistakes, and you're going to prosper probably even more than some of them prospered. So this is what I'm going to tell you about me very quickly, and then I'm going to close, okay? Anyone who cares for you in life will do the following. They will tell you when you do well, and they will tell you when you do poorly. If they really care for you, watch out for people who only tell you when you do wrong or when you do poorly. If they only have negativity for you, you need to distance yourself from them as a mentor, okay? And on the flip side, even though it feels good, don't just simply listen to those people who only tell you when you do well, because none of us are 100% all the time. We make mistakes, and we need people in our lives to say, hey, you messed up. Let's correct it. Let's do better next time. So someone who really cares for you will tell you when you do well, and they will tell you when you do poorly. Now, not all the information I'm going to give you is going to be warm and fuzzy. Sometimes it's going to be cold, hard, blunt truth, okay? And sometimes you're going to feel like the truth, the cold, hard truth, feels like it's going to put you right in the ground, okay? But be encouraged. Once you're planted in the ground, now you have the opportunity to grow. All right, invite 2 people to this podcast. Share it with 2 people at least. Let's grow this thing together. This is Tony Ceballos. I'll see you on the next episode of HS Preneur.